What I want to talk about in this next playlist is the difference between Francis Ngannou in his first fight with Stipe and in his second one, because there was a massive difference. Now, just quickly, if we look at the stats, in the first fight, his takedown offense was 58%. In the second fight, it was 100%. In the first fight, he was controlled for 15 minutes, over 15 minutes. In the second fight, he wasn't controlled for 5 seconds. And in the first fight, he landed 21 of 113 strikes. In the second one, he landed 36 of 56 and got the job done. They're very, very different performances and very different outcomes. And he was a very different fighter in both of them. Let me show you what I mean. So in the first fight, he comes out and within seconds, he's going crashing towards Stipe Miocic, who of course is not going to stand there and trade punch for punch. He changes on a single leg and he's able to ground Ngannou for a moment before Ngannou is able to scramble back to his feet. Now, they were in this exchange for a good while, which really forced Ngannou to work. And every time there was a break, Stipe was back in on his legs, forcing him to wrestle, forcing him to defend takedowns, and making him work at times that he didn't want to. Whenever there was space, he was coming crashing forward, and you can see how good Stipe's head movement is. I mean, this is the best bit against the fence here. Look at this. I mean, it's almost like he knew the combination. Wait for it, not even that one. 3 punches, slipped and rolled. Slip, slip, roll. Beautiful work. So now you see Francis kind of walking towards him a little bit like, oh, okay. First couple of minutes has gone. I've defended a bunch of takedowns. I've swung a bunch of punches. I'm starting to feel a little bit tired, and I've not put a dent in this guy. And Stipe's just kind of meandering back and feeling very confident that the game plan that he's come into the octagon with is going to work. Then Stipe starts to catch him with counter shots, like that lovely slip counter right hand you can see there. So Ngannou steps in with a jab, Stipe's going to slip, pop, and then moves away, which then annoys Ngannou, who then comes crashing forward and walks straight onto a power double. And you can see Stipe kind of pulling him onto this because he's not standing ready to take these shots. And this was the beginning of the end for Ngannou. Now he's trapped on the floor, and now his gas tank is starting to get drained. Now this is the second fight. Now look at this difference in takedown exchange. Not only does he stuff the takedown in a much more technical and intelligent way, but then he circles to the back and starts to challenge Stipe's grappling. He starts to kick his leg out, drags him to the floor, lands a few shots. And of course, Stipe gets back to his feet. He's able to scramble and get some space. But the difference in this first exchange and in the second one is that now Stipe is defending takedowns and he's moving back and thinking to himself, this is not the first guy I fought. This is not the same guy. That same guy was reckless and crashing forward. This guy is forcing me to defend takedowns. It's a very, very different fighter that he's up against. Let's continue on, because this was Ngannou in the second round of their first fight. Now, he looks like if you pushed him hard enough, he would fall over. He looks like he's pretending to not be tired, and he is exhausted. Look, I mean, Stipe's popping and poking him and not committing to anything. This is Ngannou in the second fight. Look how fiery he is. Look how prepared he is for a firefight with Stipe. And he steps in with that lovely left hand that cuts straight inside Stipe's guard, which again is another change. Now, one thing we spoke about the first fight was Stipe moving back, stepping away, and then that little bounce out of range to counter right that he does. It landed really nice in the first fight, and that's what drew Ngannou onto that really easy double leg that he got. But in the second fight, it actually gets him into more trouble. So, of course, as is Ngannou's instinct, he goes charging forward because he feels that Stipe's hurt. So Stipe's backing up, and I mean, this is this is the reason why Stipe won the belt. He jogs backwards and runs people onto that short right hand, and he did the same thing against Ngannou in this fight. Jogs back, catches him with that, and then all of a sudden you can see Stipe get excited and think, oh, he's hurt, and then comes crashing forward and gets caught with that left hook. And that, I mean, what a knockout that is. But the point of difference between the two is Ngannou's ability to hold himself back a moment, his patience and his willingness to not only defend a takedown, but then switch the takedown on Stipe and force him to work. Because you see Stipe kind of jogging back, questioning how this fight's going to go compared to the first one. And then as he sees Ngannou move, he goes to block that big hook that he was used to expecting in the first fight, and the punch comes on the inside. You'll see what I mean. Look at that. That is a straight punch to the chin. That is an adaptation in Ngannou's game because most of those punches would have come around the side. This is why Stipe's hand is here, because he's expecting a big trajectory to come. It comes swinging around the side so he can catch it here. The fact that it comes on the inside and catches him across the chin is another example of how Ngannou's game is evolving as he's going. I think we're going to see another angle of it here. I mean, he is an absolute wrecking ball. And there's the right hand that he gets caught with, which does stagger him for a moment. Gets a little bit reckless. Again, he's still learning his game. I mean, he's, 19 fights into his career. But he's very much a big kid in his game. There's still a lot of ways he can mature in his style. And these little lessons that he learned, just like the first Stipe fight to the second Stipe fight, when he walks out in the second round like a zombie, and you kind of see that moment, that realization in his eyes where he's like, I've got 20 minutes left. I should not have spent all of my energy in the first 5 minutes. And that lesson then permeates the rest of his career, because it was such a harsh lesson that then in this next fight he doesn't do the same thing. But he still gets caught with the right hand, which is going to make it even more difficult for Cyril Gane to land that shot, because again, we expect him to learn. But look, Ping catches him, gathers himself for a moment, and then Stipe comes crashing forward onto a counter left hook. I mean, that is just the danger with this individual. He is so dangerous. Even when you catch him and he's hurt, look at that punch. Look how straight that is. He's been learning from Kamaru Usman, who might be the best straight puncher in the sport right now. That was a lovely knockdown and a lovely finish and a much, much better performance to the first time he fought Stipe. This is a different problem. There's no doubt about it.